Hi, in this week's episode of the Night Vision Show, Mark Ripley gives us an overview of the new PARD NV007SP LRF, and Ashley from Northern Ireland tells us about the Innomount system of how you can replace the scope without losing zero.
Right, so today I'm just going to have a quick look with you guys at the new PARD 007NV SP. So that's quite a mouthful, but it's basically just the PARD add-on. So this is the new version of the original PARD 007, which I've also got here, which was this one. So I bought this one when they first came out, and it's been a brilliant little unit. It's great because it simply bolts or just slots onto the back of your rifle and converts it to a night vision scope. So a standard day scope converted to a night vision scope. Another thing which I like about these is that they also record colour footage daytime. So you can put them on there and record some through the scope footage, which is very useful for me, obviously doing a lot of videoing. So the basic differences then between the new PARD and the old PARD. Well, the first thing is that the if I put them roughly side by side, you can see you've got about an inch or inch and a half more eye relief on the new one to what you had on the old one. So that means that when that's on the back of the scope, you get a much more natural kind of shooting position rather than having to kind of lean your head back that little bit, which you had to with this one. Not that I found it much of a problem with that, to be fair, but the newer one has just reduced that a bit more. PARD have also changed the adapters on these, and they're not compatible either, so don't go thinking you can use your old adapters and then put this one on. They for some reason they decided to change that bit, but essentially the original ones bolted on with a couple of little Allen keys. The newer ones now have just got a like a locking clip, so you can literally slide that onto the back of your scope like so, and then lock that down, and that's it, that's on there, job done. The new one also, as before, has a built-in illuminator, which is pretty good. I reckon that goes out to about 350 metres. In fairness, I tend not to use those. I tend to use something like a PBIR or a Wicked light with these, just mounted on the scope, mainly because you do get a brighter beam with that and a slightly clearer image, but also it saves the battery life, so it's a sort of a win-win for me. But the new one also, or this particular model, also incorporates a laser rangefinder, which is a really nice touch. Now, if you go for either of these models, a couple of things just to bear in mind. Firstly, if you're using a scope such as a Swarovski, where you've got the illuminated reticle buttons up here on the eyepiece, then just be warned, you're probably going to struggle to fit something like this on there. Another thing to watch out for is things like the nightfall scopes, where the whole eyepiece rotates when you zoom in and out. This is on an Element Helix at the moment, and it's got a separate zoom ring here, so it doesn't affect it at all. It's ideal. In fact, actually, I'll just point out quickly, this is a Helix HDLR, and that has a base mag of only 2 times, so it's a 2 to 18 or 2 to 16 actually, I should say, and that really low base mag is brilliant for add-ons like this, because I think they have got some built-in magnification in these. I'm not 100% sure, I have to check on that, but they do recommend that you use it on no more than 4 times base mag scope. However, I have used them on scopes with sort of 5 or 6 times base mag, and they have been fine. It just narrows down your field of view. You can also, when these units are fitted to your scope, you can still use your scope as you normally would. So if you're a bit of a weirdo like me and likes to dial in for long shots and things like that, you can still do that with these, because it sits to the rear of the scope, so it won't affect any of the workings of the scope itself. Illuminated reticle, you can still use that too, although you might find it blurs a bit in the scope, because they are quite a sensitive sensor in there for low light and stuff, so it might cause you a little bit of bother there, but yes, you can still use it. So as I've already said, not only do these convert your day scope to a night vision scope, they also record day and night. Good thing about that is, because they're on the rear of the scope, they also record the crosshairs, which is a lot nicer than the front mounted scopes, where you just see an animal in the middle of the screen just kind of fall over and at least with this you can actually see where your crosshairs are or were when you pulled the trigger. So that's good. Battery wise, both these units run on a single 18650 battery, which is ideal. Quickly chop them over, swap them out. Now what PARD have done, as you can see on this one, is they've changed the battery so it sits vertically rather than horizontally on the unit, and that's probably what I would imagine has helped reduce the overall length of the unit. So the other thing you'll notice with these is on the original model the focus wheel was here just at the base of the unit, which was kind of awkward to sort of get to. It was doable, but it was a bit awkward, whereas the new ones have got a nice little focus wheel just on the side here, which makes it a lot easier to focus it in from a natural shooting position. Other than that, the keypad and that on the back is much the same. Power buttons just moved from the rear of the unit here to the top, which is actually a bit better, and there's less chance of kind of pressing it when you're trying to press a record button or something. You can also, with both of these units, you can play back footage, which is really useful. So if you've shot a deer or something and it's run, then you can quickly play it back in the unit itself and see exactly which way it ran or how it reacted to the shot. So very useful. One thing to bear in mind, if you are using this unit on a scope such as this, where you've got the tall target style turrets, that could well get in the way of the laser rangefinder which is mounted on the top there. Likewise, if you've got a illuminator that you're adding to this, there is a little bit of Picatinny on the top of the unit, but I think putting your IR right up there isn't such a good thing. I like to have mine kind of on the front of the scope there like that. Incidentally, these mounts that I'm using, I use these on all my infrared illuminators where I'm using them with a bit of Picatinny or a scope mounted setup like this. This is the Wicked Lights mount system for their torches. You can buy these mounts and the bracket here that comes with it from Scott Country, but I really like these because they're fully adjustable with a little thumb screw, or thumb wheel I should say, on either, or one on the side there and one here, so you can quickly and easily just with your thumb adjust the elevation and windage of the torch, which is great. And they've got a quick release mounting system which just mounts to a little kind of discreet little bit of Picatinny rail which you can just clamp onto your scope. And as I say, both these parts come with the mounts, and they're something like about, I don't know, 40-45 quid or somewhere in that kind of region. So they're not expensive, but if you buy a Wicked Lights torch you do get all that with it. If you've gone for another brand of illuminator, as I say, such as a PBIR or whatever, then yeah, you can buy just the bracket, plonk that on there. Well, I think that pretty much covers the basics of these two units. This one is still available, although it's been tweaked a little bit, slightly cheaper option than this one. This one does have the laser rangefinder, more compact, and yeah, just a generally nicer little unit. But either way, if you're interested in either of these two units, then head over to Scott Country International's website, www.scottcountry.co.uk, and there you'll find more information. Thanks for watching.
So, where I particularly see this particular type of setup very useful, if for example you have 3 different rifles, so you've got the likes of this as a 223, you have an air rifle and possibly a 2.2 rimfire. What you do, Picatinny reel on each rifle, you take a scope. Most night vision thermal imaging scopes these days come with different profiles. You set profile A for your 223. Obviously you have it on a quick release mount setup here. Profile A for your 223, profile B on the scope is for your 2.2 LR, profile C is for your air rifle. So if you want to chop and change this scope from one rifle to the other, you quickly pop it off, take it off the 223, slot it straight onto the Picatinny reel of your 2.2 LR, clip it on, which you've already had pre-zeroed, select the profile that is applicable to that particular rifle, and off you go. So, you know, these days people spend a lot of money on scopes. with a bit of extra money on a good mount, it means that you're able to utilise that scope on various different rifles throughout your gun collection, your store. So this mount and other mounts that we sell are all available on our website at www.scottcountry.co.uk.
Well, that's it for another week. If you like this sort of content, please like, share and subscribe and hit the notification bell to get a notification when we release our next video next week. Thanks for watching and see you there. Cheers.